Ninja Jajamaru on the Nintendo Switch. This game is included on a cartridge that I got from the Maryland Library System. The name of the cartridge is Ninja Jajamaru, The Great Yokai Battle Plus Hell Deluxe Edition. It includes 6 games, including this game, which is the main game, which actually is surprisingly good. I want to come back and play more of that Yokai Battle game. But the bonus collection on the disc includes emulated versions of several classic games in this franchise. A franchise that barely made its way over to the United States. I mentioned in my previous video, my teaser video, I guess, that there were a bunch of games that were released in Japan under the name Ninja Jajamaru by Jalico, the company behind City Connection, Bases Loaded, and what was their other big... Well, here in the United States was Bases Loaded. And what happened was that apparently there was a game called Ninja Kid that came out in the arcades that's about climbing mountains, basically. I can't show you clips of that because I don't have access to that. I guess I can link you to something. But the more important thing is that there was a similar protagonist called Jajamaru who was apparently purloined from that game and placed into this Jalico joint, which came out on the Famicom in 1985 in the Japanese NES. Never came over to this country here in the United States, but it did come out in Japan. And apparently it sold 1 million copies in Japan. Back in 1985, apparently the Famicom was doing really, 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 really well, and a lot of games sold a lot of copies over there. This isn't exactly a looker. In fact, I would argue it looks like a black box game. It looks like a game that would play alongside Wrecking Crew or Ice Climbers. Like the game is that old. So just so you know what kind of game you're in for, it's a game. Just so you know what kind of game you're in for, it's a game where your character is extremely limited in terms of what they can do. They can only throw 1 ninja star on screen at a time. They have a sort of a clumsy jump. I mean, it's better than the jump in Ice Climber, so I'll give you that. And it's a very small play field. It doesn't scroll vertically. It scrolls a little bit horizontally. And sometimes you get a roller skate here, like this little car thing that you can use to roll over enemies. I'll explain it in more detail later, but that's pretty much all you need to know about this game. It is a game where it's like Donkey Kong in a sense, where you have to climb these levels. But the only way you can climb the levels is to bash those bricks with your head, see? And once you bash them with your head, you're able to eventually make your way to the top of the area. But the goal is not to get to the top of the area. Your goal is to clear out all the enemies in the area. That's pretty much all you need to know about this game. It's extremely simplistic, as you would expect from a game that came out in 1985. We're going to somehow manage to play this game for 10 minutes. But again, we're going to kind of establish the basics, then we're going to kind of tease some of the other games as we normally do in videos like this, where I don't spend a lot of time playing the main game. To kind of set the table a bit. I wanted you to see what we were dealing with and where this game came from. We're not going to save our progress. It'll be absurd. So this is the first game in the franchise. It sold 1 million copies. Jalico published it. The same developers behind Bases Loaded. They were called Tose, T-O-S-E. They were a Japanese company that developed a lot of games on Japanese computers back in the early 80s. So they were commissioned by a lot of Japanese game publishers to develop video games for the NES, for the Famicom. Games like Bases Loaded, but also games like this. But they are one of the largest uncredited video game developers out there, because they almost never have their names on any video games that anyone released on any console. They were a company that was based... I wouldn't call them a black box company. Basically, if you commission these guys to make a video game for you, you pay them X amount of dollars, and they eventually make a game like Bases Loaded, or a game like Frankenstein on the NES, you might remember. I think they did a few Super NES games as well. I think the only game for which they were credited was an underwater sponge game that I think was published by Nintendo on the Game Boy Advance. I forget the title. It wasn't Starfy, was it? Was it The Adventures of Starfy? It might have been that game. But the point is that there was an article, I believe, in Polygon or 1UP magazine, I forget where it was, where they apparently developed about 200 or... They developed hundreds of NES games. Dozens, obviously. Hundreds, most likely. But they were uncredited for almost all of them. But I want to say the most popular game here in the United States would have been Bases Loaded. I think they did all the Bases Loaded games for the Famicom. So let's listen to the music for a bit. But the music is very loud, so fair warning. Eight enemies to kill. Guess they fall through the floor. That's all of them. So 8 enemies are on this level. I'm able to run over them with the car, or I'm able to shoot them with my shuriken. I can only throw one shuriken at a time. I believe you can jump on their heads without taking damage. Same thing, and it works the same way with you. If they jump on your head, I don't think you take any damage. But there are instant kills if they hit you with a projectile. I believe you can collect the souls they leave behind for bonus points. And sometimes when you break the bricks, you're going to see items inside. So keep that in mind. So 2 ghosts on each floor, I guess. Whoop. Oh, don't hit the bombs. Don't hit the bombs. Okay, so don't hit the bombs. That's going to be a problem. So I got a shuriken, I guess. And I got a roller skate. Oh, they can jump over those. I didn't know that. And those are the penguins. Yeah, it's just a penguin. Don't get the wrong idea. Those are just penguins. By the way, I can't go downward. In other words, the only way for me to go down is to break the floor with my head. So the only way for me to traverse floors is to break those bricks right there, those yellow bricks. So that's the problem, is that because in the original remake of Ninja Jajamaru, the new game, the Yokai Battle game I was playing earlier, you can go up and down. You can go up and down floors at will, basically. Or you can go down floors at will. But here, the only way to go down is to drop through the floor. Through a hole in the floor. The only way to make the hole in the floor is to break it with your head. So don't touch those bombs. I think you can also... that's lightning. Epilepsy warning. Fair warning. Oh, wait, you got a frog? That's cool. Of course, I can't go down now. Okay, so I got the frog. That's pretty awesome, but how do I go down? Okay, so you can hold down. Okay, some fire creature appears here. I have no idea what's going on. How do I go down? Okay, I think I'm invincible. I think I have to go... I'm trying to go down, and I can't go down. There we go. Okay, so I think I have to hold down, press jump, and then let go of the D-pad. Hold down and press jump again. That's odd. Huh. I'll take that. Uh-oh, Caracasa. With the Ninja Penguins. You have no air control. It's like Ghouls and Ghosts. You can turn around in midair, but you have no air control, which makes sense. It's 1985. That makes sense. You didn't have much. Jumping controls are extremely limited in most video games back then. Here we go. So you can jump through the floor. You just have to time it. You just have to aim properly. You have to be in the right. You have to be in the right pixel. It's not that finicky as far as the jumping controls here. Uh-oh. Yeah, that was bad. She was going to be a problem. I knew she was going to be a problem. Should I get them all? Remember, I'm also on a time limit, so I can't dilly-dally here. Can't faff about too much. Ow! I guess she stunned me once. Wow. That was rough. And the timer's still running even though it's game over. Wow. So I guess level 4 is going to be where it all ends, huh? Let's see how we do. That's what their names are? Oyuki? Aoyuki? I wasn't reading that properly, but whatever. Got her. Give me the loot. So the soul appears on the floor where they spawned before you killed them. They can fall through the floor, but I guess the soul spawns on the floor where they started. Look at that. Jumped right on her head. So you do that. So yeah, this game's alright, I guess, but I mean it's like it's a 1985 video game. Some poor kid probably paid, 50 yen. Probably paid the equivalent of $50 in yen for this game. Well, maybe 40 back in the day. Hey! When did that happen? Did you whip that out? I could barely even see how I got killed, but there you are. Again, old video games. They didn't always look great. Old video games tend to look pretty bad. That's unfortunate. Like, if you were going to remake this game, I tend to believe it would be a game where you just tightened up the jumping controls, I guess. But even then, you're kind of changing the way the game runs. You're kind of changing the mechanics of the game significantly if you significantly alter the jump controls. And the ability to only throw one weapon at a time is a pretty significant thing. I guess it's kind of like a melee attack. You can only whip it out once. You can't spam that button to get a stream of fireballs going or anything. It's not that kind of game. It's a jump and shoot game, but there's not a whole lot of shooting. Like, you can't have a stream of projectiles in this game. So it is worth it to jump on their heads sometimes so you can stun them. So that's worth something. So I get those bonus points. Do I get an extra life at 10,000 points? I wasn't keeping track of that. Got him. Okay, so I busted this floor underneath him. I thought I could kill him if I did that. But I'm taking a bunch of L's here. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting to lose so often this early in the game. Yeah, this level's not going as well as I would have liked. Don't touch the bombs. Come on! Wow! How am I dying all of these times? This is ridiculous. It's got rough. And there's only one song in the entire game? Well, one, like, stage song, I guess. Ow! Last it hit me. Someone else on this floor. There he is. One more ghost. It sold 1 million copies, folks. 1 million copies. The 80s were weird. Ah! Maybe I should just let her fall through the floor? I should probably just let her fall through the floor. They hit her while she's stunned. Should probably let her just fall through the floor and hit her while she's stunned. But yeah, I mean, as you can tell, this is not much of a looker. I mean, it's a very ugly game. The controls aren't great, but they're functional. And the basic gameplay loop gets old in about maybe 10 minutes. So I'm going to keep playing this for another 5 minutes. We'll see how it goes. Then we'll tease some of the other games again. But the whole point was to kind of establish the basics here. This is apparently an extremely popular series in Japan back in the day. Again, it sold 1 million copies. Like, we're not... Part of me sort of feels like any competent NES game was going to make money in 1985. Oh, it's a longer shuriken. Okay. So I can only throw one, but it has a longer range. That's cool. So that's the power-up I get. Again, this cartridge collection did not come with a manual, kids. Hey, give me that. Give me that. Got it. Don't know what that does. I thought I had to collect like a bunch of them. I don't remember. And I lost my shuriken power-up? There we go. There it is. Okay, so now again, I have to go back to the hole in the floor I just created because I can't go down. Yeah, I can't go down. Yeah, I can't go down. So I can't just crouch and go down. Okay, the fireball's showing up, so I'm going to have a problem here. I know there's a time limit, but the game also wants you to kill... Yeah, there's a time limit, but the fire starts chasing you if you dilly-dally on the screen too long. And I think when you run out of time, the villain starts throwing bombs at you, which you could have started throwing earlier, but whatever. Apparently, the boss at the top of the screen, the antagonist, starts raining bombs on you eventually if you dilly-dally too much. So I'm sure there's an optimal way to play this game, but I haven't quite figured it out. My logic is clear out the bottom floors, then make a bunch of holes, and then make a bunch of holes on the floor above you, so that you can get back down if you need to. Boop. Hey! So I guess I couldn't kill her. And that's a bomb, so don't touch that. So I guess the bomb blows up eventually. Okay, I thought I had my extra long shuriken. Did I lose that? Give me the car. There we go. How long does it last? Well, I lost it. So I guess bashing the floor beneath these characters doesn't really help. But they will fall. They might fall through the floor at some point. Instead of jumping over it. Okay, 2 more to go. Okay, I gotta jump off this guy's head. He's gonna keep hitting me with those boomerangs. We're gonna trade hits. Because you can shoot projectiles in this game, which I do appreciate. That's a bit of nuance I was not expecting from a game like this. And again, there's a bit of nuance to jumping on enemies' heads. So again, it has that mid-'80s arcade game feel. But again, this does not feel like this is not a particularly sophisticated game here. This looks and plays like an NES game from 1985. So play it for as long as you're willing to deal with it. Apparently, the sequels to this game have nothing to do with each other as far as, like, it's like Final Fantasy in a way. Like, the sequel to this game is a traditional platformer, which I will be sampling by the end of this video. Epilepsy warning, sorry. There we go. Just break out the frog. So you can remember, this guy can actually drop down platforms. So it's like Pac-Man. He gets the power pellet, starts eating everything. Now the fire shows up. That can't be good. No real time bonus, huh? That's right. So this is the level that kills me. So I want to say all the pickups from the bricks are always the same. They aren't randomized, because that means that every level has the same power-ups in the same spots, which helps if you're trying to optimize your speed run, I guess. You hit him from behind. That's the way to do it. Got him. Come on. I'll take that high score bonus. Okay, there's another dude down here. I gotta bring him down. Hold on. Okay, he's smart. He jumped back up. Guess he figured it out. Of course, the other question is how I'm going to deal with Nessa, whatever her name is. Come on, get back up here. There we go. I got to get behind her. That seems to be the secret here. And there's no roller skate I can ride on, huh? Okay, there she goes. Come on, we got her. She's really fast, though. That's going to be a problem. Ah! Jeez! And now he starts throwing the bombs at me. But the time didn't run out, so why did he start throwing the bombs at me? She's the last one I have to deal with. Can I get her from behind? No, she's really fast. I have to jump on her head. You have to jump on her head. She's going to be rough. I have to stun her, or I think I have to stun her by jumping on her head. This seems a bit more difficult. Got the power up. I'm gonna take a shot to the face. Yep, she got me. Shot to the face. As soon as I got that power. As soon as I got that point, that high score boost. Amazing. See, I can't get behind her. Wow. This chick is ruthless. Okay, so we'll tease the next video by doing the Jajamaru sequel. Yeah, I'm probably never going to play this game again. So you got 20 minutes out of me. I did it, fam. I paid my dues. Now don't bother me until I can play the sequel. Again, this is a traditional side-scrolling game, so it's not really a shortish arcade game this time. So this is more like Super Mario Brothers. Like, you run to the right, ratchet scrolling, so you can't go backwards, really, to my knowledge. So a pretty conventional side-scrolling game we'll be playing more of later. I think you can throw 2 shurikens at once in this game, which is always nice. The scrolling's a bit more smooth, and the music's a bit catchier. So this series does have some pretty good music. I think it's fair to admit that. Jajamaru jazz. Nah! So that's the sequel we'll be playing more of later. And I definitely want to tease the next game. The game after this. Operation Milky Way is a game that was supposed to come out here in the United States as Squashed. It was even reviewed in, what was it? Video Games, Computer Entertainment Magazine. I want to say Nintendo Power even previewed it. But the fact that it got reviewed gave me the impression that this game was going to be... This game was given... Jalico of America apparently sent out beta review copies of this NES game to game magazines so they can kind of get a taste for how people will react to this game. Because it came out a few months after Super Mario Bros. 3. And the argument was that, okay, do we want to release this game in the United States with a different name? And I don't even think Sakura, the female protagonist, was included in it at all. And the controls were very different from Super Mario Bros. 3, so I do not think it was actually going to do very well, if I'm being honest. But once you get a peek at this game, you're going to recognize it very quickly. If you're like me, I said, wait a minute, I know this game. Squashed was never released in America, apparently. I guess the release got squashed. Guess it got ninja'd. But yeah, it's see, looks like Mario Brothers. And your character automatically jumps on enemies' heads by squashing them with that little pogo stick looking thing. So you still jump on enemies' heads in this game. But you can also press the attack button in midair to start the... I think you can start... Well, I don't think it really matters now that I think about it. It's just a game with animation that confirms that you're jumping on their heads. And I have to get my run going. Give me a second. Hey! What the heck happened? First of all, this game's not gonna do very well if people can't figure out how to run. Like I can imagine like them focus testing this game, then a bunch of kids just freaking out because they can't get over the first gap. Like imagine a bunch of kids trying to rent this game and just freaking the heck out. Because this picture was in every magazine before it got released. There are slopes, John Linneman. Just saying. So this is a rocket ship? Oh, I can double jump. Okay. Oh, it only lasts for a few seconds? That sucks. Ow. Okay, first of all, I'm fairly certain... I'm fairly certain that there should be... I kind of wish this game came with a manual. Good freaking lord. Yeah, what? All right, this game's gonna be tougher than I expected. Okay, so we're gonna take a bunch of L's when we play this game a bit later. There was also a Game Boy game that really sucked, but it has potential because you can basically jump off the top of the screen, and there's a bit coming up later where it's like you can jump on the ceiling a little bit, kind of like in Metal Storm, only not as good. Let's just put it that way. But this kid's got mad hops, like Legend of Kage, I guess. So look how high this kid jumps. He jumps off the screen. I guess it's kind of like, what is it? The Ninja Turtles NES game where you just hold down the button. You just hold down the jump button and you get an automatic double jump at the top of your jump, which is kind of cute. You could also farm enemies for souls here that increase your life bar, which is nice. But apparently there are like bugs really early in the game where you can get teleported to the boss like for no reason, and there's a bunch of weird bugs in this game apparently. So if you want to just sit there and just kill enemies to farm health, you can do that if you want. Not sure why you would, but there you go. I mean, there is that option if you so choose. So yeah, this guy's gonna grab you This guy's gonna grab you, so you have to shoot him in the body. And he took away all my health, so I died. So the idea is to get enough health before you fight the boss. Okay, but this game sucks. There's a Game Boy version. There's a Game Boy Color version as well, which is apparently the same game. Like it would not be out of. Yeah, like it would not be out of sorts for Jalico to release this game on the regular Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. I want to say, well, actually no, the game we just played, the regular Game Boy game, was called Maru's Mission in the United States. So I did recognize it. It had a completely different cover, which is ugly as crap. But more importantly, Maru's Mission was apparently a terrible game, but it's very expensive. Well, not terribly expensive, but the loose cartridges cost about what, $20 for a game this terrible. And if you buy, and the complete in-box version of the game is like $50. It's bizarre. So in other words, the game has not changed in price. The game has not dropped in price at all since it launched, I guess. But yeah, Maru's Mission did come out on the Game Boy in the United States, and apparently if you want to buy a copy, there are people on eBay, I guess, are buying it for $50. Because everyone's got to have a complete collection in box of everything, I guess. Although having like an American version of a Ninja Jajamaru game, it has some appeal, I guess, to some curators, I suppose. Yeah, like if you're a curator who's like, I'm covering like the history of video games. Oh, here's this Japanese video game that was extremely popular. Sold 1 million copies over in Japan. But it never came over to the States. Yeah, it never came over to the States. But Maru Mission was the localized version of that Game Boy game. And what else did we get? We never got Squash. We never got the Super Famicom game. And what was the other game we never got? Well, there were 5 Jajamaru games. The first Jajamaru game was the feature title in this video. The sequels, I played the first sequel. The 5th game was the game you saw me play that was the Galactic Adventure. It was like Squash. Apparently the 3rd Jajamaru game was a Dragon Quest clone, like a Dragon Warrior-like RPG. The 4th game was kind of like Legend of Zelda. So that could have been something. I guess at some point they'll release a deluxe version of this game where they localize the 3rd and 4th games in the NES. But again, they probably have a lot of text in them, so it's probably way more effort to add those games. Whereas these other games are just like platformers with not a lot of dialogue, I suppose. And I'll show you Super Ninja Kid just for funsies, because it's the Super Famicom game. Again, I never knew this thing existed. If it's called Super Ninja Kid, I don't remember when it came out in the States. I don't think this game ever existed here in the States. It probably came out in Europe, though. I mean, again, Europe got a lot of games that we never got here in the States. Oh, not a lot, not a massive amount of them, but there were a couple of games that for some reason never... Like, Xenoblade Chronicles, the original Xenoblade Chronicles on the Nintendo Wii, was apparently only supposed to be a European localization. But then they got around to actually releasing it here in the States. I think the European Bureau brought it out. They did the localization that we eventually got here in the States. But again, it was supposed to be a GameStop exclusive because Nintendo of America said, okay, we'll just do the special deal with GameStop to release this European game that's in English, and we'll just see how it does. Because, you know, it was obviously it was a Japanese RPG, and they were more popular in the Wii era than they were in the Super NES era in America. But it was also a late Wii title, so I guess there was a risk. Nintendo was like, okay, look, let's just see if we can do, like, let's just find some way to get it out in the States, I suppose. We aren't going to try and go through the traditional retailers. We're going to see if GameStop will make it. We'll do a smaller run at one store just to kind of see how it does, I guess. And for, I think, a year or so, the game's price was like $80 to $90. Like, there was a moment there when GameStop started getting rid of them. And it was hard to find. You had to spend like massive, that's been like $80, $90 once it was discontinued. Which sucked, obviously, but I eventually wound up getting the game for like $45 or $50 at some point. And of course, I own it now on the Wii. And I've been playing it on the Wii U. I have several videos of me playing the original Xenoblade. I'm supposed to put up a video of me playing the Switch remake, which looks a lot better. And apparently it cleans up some of the bugs that might have been in the Wii version. I'll double check. The Switch version is considered the definitive version, obviously, but can I not go this way? Am I missing something? We're going to play this game later, obviously. Just want to kind of set the table. There we go. So yeah, this game. Never played it. We'll play more of it later. But I definitely want to play the original Jajamaru game. The reason I didn't buy this game. I haven't seen this game for sale anywhere, so I have to go looking around, because it's probably like an eBay. It's probably like a special order thing. Because like I said, I got this at the library. And the library is kind of good about looking up, you know, remakes of old video games. I guess it's their curation function. They want more people to play these games, so we're finally getting a chance to play them on modern consoles. And this is part of the reason why you should have a library. Library should definitely focus on getting physical copies of games like this so that people can play them. It would be nice if there were more history included here, but beggars can't be choosers. I'm playing a video game that I barely even remember existed. Here in America in the year 2023. Localized. You don't have to pay stupid import prices. You don't need a converter. You don't need to go online to some shady website to download some ROMs in an emulator or whatever. You can just play it legally for free, which is nice. But we'll be playing more of this game, definitely. The Yokai War, which is definitely the game to play. Again, you somehow managed to get a 40-minute video out of me. So let me get some retro music in here. Well, we'll tease this a little bit, then we'll end the video with some chiptunes. Let's see. I guess I can turn it up a little bit. Yeah, there's an option where I can turn it up, so I can do that. Yeah, we can do that. Do I have any achievements? Perform a ninpo slip through the golden block. What? Don't break any gold. I didn't know this was a thing. Get a game over at scene 1-1. That would be... That's going to be amusing. It's also easy to do, so I guess we can just do that. Yeah, just kill them all. Gotta kill them all. The controls are a lot better here. I'm invisible, so now I can die. There we go. Got that achievement. This music is very good, the arrangements for the arranged music they got in this game is very good. should be able to clean up this level. Give me a second. See? Good music. So I'll just take the loot from here. So can I just farm these old areas for more Jala coins so I can get more unlocks? Is that what we're doing? See? I got a green Jaja now. Got a green Jaja Banks from the Jaja Bank. What's the green deal? What's the green dude's deal? He has a different attack. I don't know what that means. Well, we're going to end the video here. We'll play more of this game later. How do I back out? Well, I can't back out. But we'll play more of this game later. I had a lot of fun with this Yokai Battle game. Recorded this on my Skull Candy earbud headphones into the audio splitter. J5 Create capture device USB-C connection into the quad-core Windows 10 laptop with the Windows 10 camera app, capturing the footage at 60 frames a second, 720-bit.